refill the line. 1, 2, 3.
Hey! We are in one of the most famous regions in the entire world, Champagne, France.
Now, Champagne, France is home to the most magical and prestigious wines in all of the world, champagne. It's often imitated but never duplicated because true champagne can only be made right here in Champagne.
So we are spending a quick 2 days in this lovely region, touring these beautiful vineyards and just drinking it all in.
Quite literally. To paraphrase the great local Dom Perignon, we'll be drinking stars.
And to anyone who says that Disney is the happiest place on earth, they have never been to Champagne. I think this is a great way to start because we are actually inside an old wine barrel that has been converted into a hot tub.
It's pretty spectacular. So we are staying in the tiny town of Sacy, which is in between Reims, spelled Rem, and Eperney, which are the two main towns in the Champagne region. We wanted to book a chateau and embrace the joie de vivre of Champagne and butcher French phrases with my accent.
The views from this hot tub right here, you can see a hot tub, and you've got, well, vineyards all around us, and then a nice little medieval church. This place is just magical. I mean, it looks like a fairy tale. I think it is a fairy tale.
Feels like one.
It is one of the most beautiful wine regions that we've ever been to.
I love you more than anyone should ever be allowed to love anyone or anything, anyone or anything.
Okay, we are about to do one of the most amazing things ever that you have to do when you're in Champagne. We are gonna saber some champagne bottles.
He's right over there. You got the saber. Got it. You nervous?
Yeah. And it's the sharp side?
Yes, exactly. There we go.
I have my weapon of choice, a champagne saber. Okay, so sabering champagne, I'm gonna...
You can just hold it like this. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna run this saber along
the neck.
of the champagne, and it is going to break the top and shoot the champagne open. Here we go. Okay, just lightly.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! Oh!
Perfect.
You're a good teacher, thank you. C'est parfait.
Look at the top.
Oh my, look at that. Right into the
Don't
vines.
worry, he went and got it for us.
Saving the environment too.
Perfect.
We are so excited. We're about to do what?
We're gonna go taste some champagne at our first champagne house.
Yes.
Now we are at Ruinart. For all you Americans, you probably say Ruinart. And we are in the town of Reims. So we are about to go on our first champagne tour in Champagne.
It feels like we are in royalty because everywhere you drive around, they've got these huge champagne houses. And I mean, we are in a historic place. So let's go. So we are in Ruinart, and we are in the tasting room. It's going to be a group, semi-private.
It's 10 people, and you can book a tour online at the Ruinart website, and you can book a tour in the language of your choice. So obviously we booked a tour in English, and you'll be able to hear me better this way. Booked a tour in English, and it's 10:30 in the morning. We're gonna start our day off right with a little Ruinart champagne tasting.
Brief little COVID notice for Americans coming here. You have to show proof of vaccination when you actually come to the site. So we had to carry our vaccine card, and they looked at it.
Or a negative COVID test.
de Paris n'importe bras dessus en chantant des chansons bras dessus de Paris n'importe bras dessus en chantant des chansons bras dessus.
That was just an art show in like a 65-foot tall cathedral that used to be storage for wine. Wow, that's cool.
De Paris n'importe bras dessus en chantant des chansons bras dessus de Paris n'importe bras dessus.
So Champagne is as fun to visit as it is to drink. It's so fun.
We just finished the most amazing tour at Ruinart, also pronounced
Ruinart.
That's the right way to say it. This was fantastic. We went something like
120 feet below sea level.
Below the
Below
ground. But it's these chalk mazes, these caverns.
Terroir.
Thank you. That have been around for hundreds of years, and that's where they've stored the wine. We learned that basically this is where they sheltered people during the wars, because this region in Champagne, as beautiful as it is, has a very tumultuous history of war, because both World War I and World War II, both these were strategic points where battles were going on. Guys, don't fight over Champagne, leave it alone.
There's enough for everyone.
Yeah, they actually, Ruinart got down to only like 5,000 or 10,000 bottles after the war, because they were actually plumaging and pillaging the bottles in the caverns and giving them to the troops to motivate them. And what's the fun fact that happened after the war?
So the German soldiers surrendered in Reims, right here in the Champagne region.
And what did they celebrate with?
Of course, they celebrated with champagne,
Yes.
as you do, because it is a celebratory drink.
So this tour in Ruinart was one of the most amazing wine tours we have ever done.
It's filled with art and history and drinks, of course,
Yes.
but it was truly magical. I can't say enough great things about it. This really set the tone for our trip to Champagne, and it was the best tour we've ever been on.
If you have a chance, come here. The price for the tour is?
It was €70 a person and well worth it. I know it's expensive, but it is a full experience and you get a tasting.
Yeah, so now time for lunch to put some food on these bubbles.
Let's go.
Chanson
Bye-bye.
bras dessus. Bon.
So we are eating lunch in Reims at Le Boulingrin, and I'm about to eat some snails, also known as escargot. But these babies are doused in parsley and butter, and they are so delicious. One of my favorite meals in the world, and definitely in all of France. So good. So good. Absolutely amazing. And then when you're done with the snails, you can dip your bread in the sauce, and you just have a second meal, and it's great. Oh, and garlic. Lots of garlic.
So we just had a great lunch in downtown Reims. I think I said it right? Reims. I mean, it's spelled Reims. But we are on our way to a boutique winery, because you got to go to the big ones, which we absolutely love Ruinart, as you could tell by our excitement. And we are headed to Les Maison Penet, which is probably not that famous amongst the average wine drinker, but we're hoping that it's very excited. It becomes highly recommended. We're super pumped about it.
When love comes in, ooh la la la. Love comes in, ooh
So we just finished up our big day of tasting in Champagne, France.
And now we started with a big producer of Ruinart, and we ended the day with a small producer,
Little guy.
Maison Penet. And it was so wonderful. Now everybody knows the Veuve Clicquot's and the Moet and Chandon.
Moët Chambon Champagne.
But we really recommend you visiting a small producer. Now we were in the small town of Reims, which is a Grand Cru appellation, which is the highest classification for the land and the climate.
And that is given by the governing body who oversees all of the winemaking in France. They look at the land, they look at the climate, and they say, you are a Grand Cru. Your soil's so special, we give you that classification. Now, I want to talk to you about champagne. Champagne is very special. It's like bourbon, it's like port, it's like sherry. It has a classification all of its own because it has very special rules. And the biggest rule of all is?
It must be made in Champagne.
Yes, just like port, just like sherry, those things have to be made in the perimeters that they define. And before we get into that, I want to talk to you about what I'm wearing. You guys have seen this before. You know what it is. It is cuts. And the reason why I love cuts so much is, well, one, they look so good. You can go out wine tasting in France. That's how fantastic they are. They are also yummy. They feel so good. Absolutely. How do you like it?
They do. I love cuts, especially this Henley cut. I think it looks fantastic on you. It's sharp, it's versatile, and it feels so good.
I'll be honest, I was a little scared to wear Henleys at first, but then when I got my cuts, I was like,
You rock it.
it felt good, you know?
Yeah.
I like it. So we want to share the whole experience of cuts with you. So we have a discount just for all of our Romeru followers. Check out the link below, use the code Romeru, and you can get 15% off your purchase of cuts. So now back to what it means to be a champagne sparkling wine. Now, sparkling wine has been made for ages, but Champagne, this was the place that was making the best stuff in the entire world, and they decided to classify it as champagne. And when they created these rules, which it's a list too long to actually tell you about, basically they said anyone who's outside this region, they are not following the rules of Champagne. They don't have the terroir. Is that how you say it?
Terroir. Terroir.
Terroir. Terroir.
The land, the climate, everything that just makes it oh so special. And they said, we are Champagne and no one else is that. So you cannot use the name, you cannot use it as branding, so therefore, not Champagne.
Only sparkling wine.
Only sparkling wine. So a lot of people may claim to have the same method as Champagne, but in reality, it's not Champagne, it's just sparkling wine.
The more you know.
So, as Colette said, you need to go to the big brand houses and check them out. Ruinart, amazing experience. They had this huge art exhibit. They have chalk cellars that are something of like 120 to 150 feet tall. It is magical. But you need to go to the little guys as well. Why? Well, give my honest opinion. I think the big guys, they make a great product. They make a magnificent champagne. But the thing is something like 80% of all the grapes grown go to them. Basically, you have a lot of small growers who just sell their grapes to the wine producers. They create 80% of the volume, but they only own 20% of the grapes. What does that mean? That means they're basically just big mass producers. Like I said, good product, but very good marketing. If you want to have great product for a good price, go to little guys. That's where you're gonna get more cost-effective bottles that are going to be just as good as the Ruinarts or the Moet Chandons.
Maybe even better, because a lot of the small producers sell to these large producers, but they don't always sell them their cuvées, their best type of wine. They sell them the second best type of wine. So if you want the best of the best, our experience has been the small producer when it comes to the quality and complexity of the actual champagne.
No matter what, you can't go wrong when you're in Champagne because it's champagne. It is one of a kind. It is the, how do you say it?
Fritz Bernet.
Ending our time in Champagne in the Piece de Resistance, the pinnacle of all of Champagne in Eperney. So we are on the Avenue des Champagne, which is lined with all of the big champagne houses. What are some of the big ones?
I mean, we have Perrier-Jouët here, we have Moët Chandon.
You can live a dream with Moët Champagne.
We have Dom Perignon, Coyer Picard.
I mean, this is the area where you can drive down and basically travel through history. And these houses are massive. I mean, these are big establishments. So yesterday we did a big one, Ruinart, then we went to the small one, and then now we're doing the big one again.
But this time we're in Eperney, which is the capital of Champagne, about 30 minutes to 45 minutes south of Reims.
Of caution when you come to drink champagne. This is one of 3 serving sizes we're getting today. We're getting 3 glasses of this size. So if you are going to come here, you definitely want to have a driver. There's no way you could drink all 3 of these in the hour-and-a-half setting that we're going to be here and decide to drive down these windy roads. So either stay in Eperney or get a ride and be safe, because it's not like when you go normal wine tasting where they give you a little taste. They give you a full glass. Multiple of them.